Here. Whoa. Son. Whew. So David, we're out here. It's day 5. You just won the FLW Tour on Smith Lake. Your first major win. How's it feel?
It's pretty amazing right now. I don't think it's really set in yet, but get a little time to relax. It'll probably hit home.
Yeah, maybe have that trophy in the passenger seat on the ride back to North Carolina with you.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I like it. Well, I'll tell you what, it would be an honor and pleasure if you could take me out in the water and show me how to do this thing.
All right, we'll do it.
So David, you came up here every day in the tournament, and I guess you're fishing a shad spawn, or fish that were kind of around that.
Yes.
Can you let me know just how you ended up in this section and what clued you in that you should be doing that?
Well, I came out, I really didn't find the shad spawn until the tournament. I came out during practice, and I just knew there were some good fish in this area. I caught a couple good ones during practice, and shook a few off, and so I felt like there's some quality fish in the area, so I knew I had an area to kind of key on, but I didn't really get on anything else at any other areas in the lake, so except for when I came up here the first morning of the tournament, we had a good warm morning, and I came by some bushes. I believe it was back in this creek a little further, but I came by some bushes, and they were, shad came up around them, and some fish were chasing them, and when that starts happening, it's time to.
You better be ready.
Yeah, it's time for the fish to feed up, and that's when they'll recuperate, from their spawning time, and they just really fatten back up.
We're up in Rock Creek, which is kind of like the middle arm. What led you into here? Just because you got a lot of options on Smith Lake.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at like Earth, Google Earth and stuff like that, and I try to find areas that have some color in the water, and then that's where I'm going to spend most of my time. That's what I'm most comfortable with. I like to power fish, so I'm going to get in the dirtiest water I can find. And this area of the lake had some pretty good color, it looked like, and so that's what I wanted to go with.
Do you do this sort of shad spawn stuff around back home a lot?
Yeah, this time of year works pretty good. There's a lot more guys do it around home though, so it's a little harder to,
to differentiate.
Yeah, it's a little harder to get on that kind of deal and be able to run with it for any amount of time because so many guys do it.
Yeah, it seemed like something that not a lot of people were looking for in this tournament, or that just maybe wasn't happening good in practice.
Yeah, nobody found it during practice. Yeah, pretty much. Nobody found it during practice. I don't think it was really going, so it was just I happened to be in the right area at the right time. When it started happening, I was able to key in on it pretty quick, and just being around good quality fish. There's right there.
Oh yeah, you can see them flicking. Now, would you cast a bait into there? Like, would you expect a fish there?
Well, typically a fish, they'll push them right up against the bank, but there could be some in them, and but that's exactly what we're looking for. But as the sun gets up higher, they'll gravitate more up under the heat of the docks, But we didn't get out early enough during the tournament to get to see too many of them. It was, you know, it was like after 7 o'clock before I got up here every morning, so you would see it just for a few minutes, but during practice you could get out nice and early and
watch it happen.
well,
Theoretically, anyhow.
yeah, I mean you can get out, you know, early, and you know if it's going on you can tell if it, you know, if it is.
Yeah, I guess if you were fishing a tournament this
Yeah.
time of year, you would make a point you'd want to be on the water first
Yeah.
thing every morning.
At night time's the best time to find it. I lost like one under this dock every day. I mean, every day. He's not there today.
Shouldn't you know? I mean, shouldn't you want to be on day 5?
No doubt.
If Kyle was here, definitely he'd bite. So, we're throwing a pair of jigs now.
Yeah.
And you threw a buzzbait a little in the tournament, even a frog, but your 2 jigs were kind of your main players.
Yeah.
What are they, and I guess why do you like them?
Well, I took 2 jigs that's that I use a lot, and the one you got is the Queen Tackle, and it's a tungsten swim jig. I rotated between trailers, but that's got a Biz Baits cutter crawl on it, and this one is a True South fathead jig, and I have actually got a Zoom speed crawl on it, but I also used a Z crawl also, the newer, you know, it's a little more streamlined. I would actually go to that a lot when I was getting a lot of short strikes because it's a little smaller profile.
The small Z-Craw, the junior?
Yes, the small one.
Okay. Now they're both. I guess this one jig, it's, you know, it's got sort of shad color with a white trailer, and the other one's pretty much straight white. Is that just to imitate the shad?
Yes.
Is that for any other reason too?
You just want to look as much as like those shad as you possibly can. And you can do it with a number of baits. I mean, you know, you can do it with a spinner bait, a chatter bait.
That's what Todd Otten was doing. He was kind of doing the...
And me and Todd were fishing around each other some, so... and it's hard to catch fish, and that's what I was mentioning about back home. It's hard to catch fish behind the other guys doing exactly the same thing, because it's kind of like fishing behind yourself all the time.
So it's not a coincidence that 2 Carolina guys got on this and made the top 10 out of it.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
How about the water levels? So we started out, it was really high in practice. Well, really not in practice, but after after day 1 of practice.
After the monsoon.
Did that change your fishing as the water kind of dropped throughout the tournament, or were you able to stay on the same program?
Well, it really scattered the fish. I mean, the first day of practice, they were pretty dead set on their cover. I mean, for me, it was, if you found a piece of cover in the water, there was a fish on it, because there wasn't a whole lot in the water.
Yeah.
And the bushes only had like maybe a foot of water on them, so so they were on every piece of cover you could find. And then when it went up like 4 foot or 4.5 foot or something like that. And when it did that, it pushed back up under so much stuff that you couldn't even get to them. And finally, by the first day of the tournament that evening, they started coming back to it, you know, going to the actual shoreline, you know. But they were the first or the second and third day of practice, it had scattered fish out so bad that it was so random. They may be a little cold, just like we are.
I wouldn't blame them. We've avoided the snow on this day 5, but we certainly seem to have a knack for cold mornings.
But the spots, when you would catch the spots, there was like multiples. I mean, under, you know, like you might there were some times you might could catch a whole limit out from under.
One dock.
Yeah. Now it got a little tougher because, and large. There were some docks, the largemouth were like that too. I mean, because I would pull them out. Most time you pull them out after you catch one or two, and you'd literally see them on your graph. You graph just like they'd come out and just set up under the boat.
You kind of have been going just around the front of the docks and the sides a little bit. And I see a lot of times in tournaments, guys will really do their utmost to get to the back of the docks.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Did you feel like you didn't need to do that?
Well, I try to find out where the fish, it's, a lot of times you can find out where they're positioned. If they're on the upwind side, the downwind side, the shady side, the sunny side, the back, you know, there's always a certain area they seem to key on. And sometimes it's where the most shade is, sometimes it's where the most light is, you know, whatever. But and you can kind of run that if they're on the fronts of them, the backs of them, and it's kind of a pattern within itself, you know. I done tried that. There ain't one up there.
I thought there might be one in the water section. I guess we pretty much struck out on that whole back side. I guess during the tournament, most days you had, well, you might not have taken off by now, but you had your limit in about this much fishing time, it seemed like. Yeah,
I didn't have to fish too much. 8 o'clock was the latest, and that was the first morning that I found the deal.
Then you went on to catch 18 pounds.
Yeah. But that's when I done the best, the first morning. But and I never did catch the big one. I caught during practice, so he's still around here somewhere.
All right.
I got a picture of him, but I couldn't weigh him. Surprised we hadn't seen some more shad yet. It's just so cold.
Yeah, I mean, for folks who, you know, watching in the comfort of their living rooms, it's in the, I'd say, low 40s this morning, mid 40s at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's
nippy.
It's been, you know, first 2 mornings of the tournaments, I think we're close to 60 or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a pretty big difference.
Once you figured the pattern out, it was like being at home.
Well, I mean, a lot of times you're chasing something that's not there. I mean, you know, you go to these different lakes and you're trying to make something happen that's not, and when it happens exactly how you planned it out in your mind,
yep,
it's like, you know,
that's when you win.
It just works, you know. And when it's your time, it's you know, it's meant to be. I mean, it's just, there's nothing you can do wrong. When I started yesterday, I actually started further back and fished 4 or 5 docks. And I caught one off like the first dock, and I didn't catch another one all the way down through here. I missed one off about every dock down through here. And I was like, man, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not, you know. And I was like, I had one 12-inch fish in the boat. And I got down to one of these docks right here, and I caught like 3 or 4 off of it. Little guy. Whew. You know, I ended up getting the limit like right after that, and it was like, but I only had like probably 5.5 pounds or something.
I was running the blog, and I think like Airy had 2, and Cox had caught like a 2.5, and Meyer had just caught 1, and I was like, well, everybody's catching fish except Williams. And then as soon as I wrote that, you caught like 3 fish.
Yeah. And then I turned around and came right up that side and cold out everything I had. So we may have to go get in a little sunshine. That's a pretty good one.
The drag is super loose on that one right now. I think I may have bumped that. But check it out, we caught a fish. Obviously skipping docks, you know, targeting the shad spawn, except no dock. But
well, I caught a lot of fish off the bank this week too. So
we'll take it though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
Largemouth.
That's the way to do it right there.
Small one, but
take it though, right?
Yeah, we finally got one.
I think he just hit it while it was like literally. Ooh, there we go. Another hard throw, isn't it?
Yep.
Now we're talking. I like it. Well, man, that's a great fish, and I tell you what, it's not going home and weigh-in because you crushed him so much, but dude, thanks for taking me out. Thanks for showing me around. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.